All right. We are live, and please tell me.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, okay. I was gonna say you like snickered, like you accidentally misclicked the button or something.
No, it's cool, man. It's only 8:33.
I know we're getting it done, kind of. So here we are talking about what are some places that we wish to go that are like either something that we've had on our mind for a really long time, places that we've heard about or seen pictures of or whatever. Like we're talking about vacation spots. We're talking about sightseeing. We're talking about just hopes and dreams for getting a little piece of the earth, right?
And
Like,
we aren't talking just any vacations. We're talking like your dream vacations, like
yes.
places you would go if money was no object and
Right.
you wanted to go there with you and your family and you had something good to see, you had something good to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We're looking for like the experience, right? Like
Yep.
I personally, I know that the average person isn't going to travel very much. You know, the rich get to travel at all different places all the time, but the average person, you take one really big vacation every year. It usually uses up a lot of your income. So each vacation has to count, right? So
Yeah.
I we both kind of came up with a list of places that we think would be really good places to spend our hard-earned money in order to see. So,
Yes, sir.
why don't you go ahead and give me your first three, and then
First
I'll
three.
give you my first three.
Okay, so are we doing top 3? Are we doing
In no
what should we
particular
do?
order. No particular
No
order.
particular
Yeah.
order? Okay, I think I came up with a total of, I believe this is 12.
Okay. And I came up with
So
10.
we were gonna go for 10. I'm sorry, I can't follow the rules.
No, it's
I just
okay.
do
It's
do
okay.
whatever I want.
You will get punished
Um,
later. I mean,
so this is what I got going for you guys. All right, Thailand. I've always wanted to go to Thailand. Right, it's just like one of my favorite foods. The people, I watch a lot of stuff on it on YouTube. Cool place. I want to go to Thailand.
for
Okay.
sure. For sure.
The second one, I don't know if this counts as a place. You might call it Europe. Okay. I put castles.
Castles. Okay.
I want to see castles. I want to see lots of castles. I want to see all the castles.
Definitely.
You know, I don't care where they are. I want to go see them.
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
if I
like
could
we're talking medieval brick on brick, like old
Yeah,
school
like-
castles.
and as many as possible. If there's some vacation I could do where I could see 12 castles in a week, that's what the vacation I want. Okay.
Definitely.
And then the third one I put is Greece.
Greece.
Okay.
Okay.
Tropical, more, I don't know. Fancy. It's fancy, you know?
Yeah,
I
fancy.
don't know. Sounds fancy, right?
Well, yeah. You're like, when you think of like Greece versus like, like Mexico or Africa. I don't know if Greece and London and places like that. It seems like it's a little more laid back. I mean, I would think that you have two kinds of vacations, right? You're gonna go to a safari, right? And you're gonna go look at like animals. You're gonna go hiking. You're gonna do that kind of stuff. And then you
And
have
activities and things.
yeah, like outdoor activities. And then you have stuff that's like sightseeing, right? So when you think of Greece, you think of seeing architecture. You think of seeing like tours and stuff like that. You don't think so much about um, going in. I mean, I'm sure there is a lot of natural beauty there, but I'm saying just like if you were to go visit London, you wouldn't go to London to go on a hiking trip. You would go there to see all the culture, and I'm sure there's a whole thing that you can plan out there. But if I
Yes,
wanted to
sir.
go see like crazy animals, then I would be going to Australia and checking out the
Oh, yeah.
wild kangaroos running around,
Hey, I thought about putting it on my list. I'm just
Oh no, I did. I put it on my list. My three. So these are
Okay, what are your three?
in no particular order, right? So I got
Okay.
Fiji, Japan, and New York. So those are just
Okay.
you know
Good choices. I like all three of those.
Fiji. Ever since I saw an ad for Fiji water when I was a kid, and it was I remember the catchphrase. It was Fiji water bottled at the source. I was like, dang, that looks amazing. And it was just like this giant mountain with, the waterfall coming down into the
Uh-huh.
giant clear
Uh-huh.
pool, and it shows the guy taking the Fiji bottle and he just kind of dunk, which he's that's yeah, they're not doing that.
No,
But
no, but it makes you want to go there
yeah, yeah,
regardless,
yeah. So ever since then, I was just like, Fiji. I don't even know like geographically where it's located. I just saw that ad and I'm just like, I got it in my head. Like, and then you see somebody running around with a shirt that says Fiji on it. You're like, yes, yes, I remember that. I remember I wanted to go there ever since I was a kid. And then, Japan being super into video games, a lot of my favorite consoles originated from Japan, you know. And
Fair
so
enough.
I really like the mainstream culture, I guess is what you would call it, because what's projected in the media, what's projected in movies, what's projected in advertisements. It's like, yes, that can be part of the culture. That's the like when you think of America, they're showing you the glitz and glamour, right? They're showing you the stuff that makes you want to visit as a tourist, right? And so when it comes to the a vacation in Japan, the stuff that I see on there is really interesting to me. The big giant buildings with all the I wouldn't call them laser shows, but they got like giant TV screens on the side of buildings with
Like,
advertisements,
yeah,
like in
yeah,
the
yeah,
middle of
yeah.
New York, and so. But theirs is obviously geared more towards their culture, and I really love that. And just growing up watching anime a lot, I know that there's a lot of that subculture there, a lot of conventions, a lot of shopping, variety there, and so, and then I
Okay,
love I
okay.
love Japanese food. Sushi
Oh
is
yeah.
one of my favorites. I go broke, buying damn sushi, and then
Like we all would.
oh yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and then the other one, New York is just when I think of a vacation spot for the hometown or the home country, New York, you don't need a passport, and so that can make it a lot less complicated if traveling's like overwhelming to you, especially going out of the country, going so far, especially if you're going by yourself. Like these
Yeah,
are
yeah.
these are for me, and I'm sure for you, this is like family vacation. This is like I want to go somewhere where I would feel safe walking around with my kids, and
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
but also something that they'd be interested in. But I would be hesitant to travel by myself. Not saying that it's wrong or whatever, but for me personally, I would have so much anxiety that I would do something like culturally not acceptable and get in trouble and not even know it. Like
Fair enough. Fair
I
enough.
mean, just imagine you're like walking through Thailand, don't understand anybody. You like throw a piece of garbage somewhere that you weren't supposed to, or go into like a restricted area that you can't read the sign that says you can't go in there, or you just
Yeah.
say something to somebody that you didn't realize was an important figure or whatever, and then you're just arrested. You can't communicate, you can't say anything, they seize all your stuff, you're just in jail. And it's like that
Yeah.
for me is like the scariest thing, is just being stuck in another country in trouble and not being able to like
Yeah.
explain
So
myself.
I've I've watched, a few YouTube channels where they travel around the world and they talk a lot about like the safest places they've been, the most dangerous places, some sketchy situations they've been into. And I never thought of that before. I
Mm-hmm.
thought of like kind of like what you're saying, like the cultural differences and like how we, you don't know what you're doing and if you're offending people or whatever. But also, yeah, like some places just plain aren't safe. It's like you're in the wrong hood,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oof, you don't need to be down this, this
Yeah.
town or whatever. That's the wrong place for foreigners, right? So, no, I definitely get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, I agree with all that. I definitely like, plays a big part in my decision making for like actually doing any of these things.
Right. Right.
And so I have a couple here that are big ones with that. just not knowing the language, not knowing the culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go to my next three here. So I got China.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me preface this with something. My next three are for different reasons, each one of them. China, I want to see the old architecture. I want to see like the culture, the old school culture. Okay.
Right.
Whatever I can.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of things going on in China, big country, right? South Korea.
Right. Okay.
And Japan. We'll put those kind of in the same category.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with a lot of what you said about Japan. It's very like technologically advanced, right?
Mm-hmm.
They do a lot of obviously video games and like flashy stuff and anime and like things that I just love, but like not just that, their food, their, like you said, the culture, people are just a lot different.
Right.
Act a little different there.
Definitely.
Whatever. Not knowing the language doesn't help, but thank God they know a lot of English.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Works out. And then South Korea, it's like, you don't see cheese in other Asian countries. Like
what's
in South Korea, they're about it.
Yeah, it's crazy when you see like Americans will get a Japanese word tattooed on their body, right? And it'll be like, this means, long life, or this one means forever peaceful, or whatever it is, right? They'll get that tattooed on their body, but it's very common for other countries to glorify American culture as well, and so you can go to other countries and hear them listening to American music, wearing Puma, Nike, Adidas, and they or listening to Ice Cube or 50 Cent or something like that. I'm not really into that kind of music, so I don't know what the newest rappers are or anything. That's what I listened to back in 10, 15 years ago. Ice Cube. I don't even know if he makes music anymore, but yeah, you got other countries that you can find a lot of American culture there that they find cool. So it is kind of cool to see that. It's kind of like when you go to England or you go to Britain and you hear that accent, or Australia, you hear that accent and you're like, you have an accent, but you don't realize, no, I have an accent because I'm in their country, right? It's when and so you're like, you have an American accent.
What?
I mean, I get no.
What is that?
No. I
like?
speak normal. You have an accent. It's like no. That's relative for sure. And so you think of like, what is an American accent, and then what is like a Southern accent compared to a New Yorker accent, compared to a New Orleans accent, and all these different accents, all from the same country, and we can't kind of tell the difference, but other countries especially, they're just like, oh yeah, you sound crazy. And then of course a lot of the places like Canada and England, the UK, even parts of Germany and stuff, where English is a very prominent language there, I kind of like British slang and English slang is just, I mean, obviously it sounds different to them, it sounds tough, it sounds cool, whatever, but to us it can be a little bit, a little bit different. But I mean, I'm sure it's the same thing for us too, the way some of the terms and some of the words that we just make up, especially when it comes from pop culture, and you're just like, beast mode. It's like beast mode. Like, what is
beast? What?
Somebody just made that up.
Like a dog?
Yeah.
Is that a dog?
Yeah, exactly. And so, or that stuff's lit, or that stuff is fire, or
That's what the kids are saying nowadays.
Yeah, and so I mean, just I've always liked watching British comedy shows. Like and hearing their slang is, I don't know, I just always found it really, really funny and cool. I really found it cool. But and then you say a couple yourself and you're like, nah, that doesn't hit the ear right. I don't have the accent to go with it.
It doesn't hit the same.
Yeah. But okay, so that's our first three. So go with your next three.
That was my
Oh, that
next
was your
three.
next
It's
three.
your turn.
All right,
It's
my
your
turn.
next three.
My
You're
next
the next
three
three guy.
is Victoria in Canada, Sydney, Australia, and then Hawaii.
Okay, solid choices.
Yes. So Victoria, I mean, when it comes to Canada, for me, my ignorance is like Vancouver, Victoria, that other one, Montreal,
That's
and
a seasoning, right?
yeah, Montreal steak seasoning. Dang it, I can't. There was another one, but
See,
anyway,
no.
huh?
Yep, ignorant American.
Yeah,
That's fine.
exactly. And this is like just off the top of my head, right? Like we do. I think that we're gonna go into a lot of these more deep, and okay, so this was another idea that I had, and this is just me thinking out loud as being somebody that wants to travel. Is I really think that it would be beneficial to at least watch two or three documentaries about a country before you visit it, like learn about
Yeah,
the history.
I could agree with that. Yeah.
You know, if I'm gonna go and travel to Greece, like watch a couple documentaries. I mean, it doesn't have to be in craziness, but I mean like learn about settlements, revolutions, government reformment. You know, people that they might not get along with that border their country, and things that are socially acceptable, socially not acceptable. Just different things like that, so that you don't you at least have an idea. You at least like attempted to. I'm not saying go take a 3 month history class at a college. I'm just saying don't act super ignorant. Do at least a little bit of research. I mean, there's and I probably would just try and make it as official as possible and not just base it off of like I got all my education from YouTube, but
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
no.
I think that taking a history lesson and learning about places that you're going to visit ahead of time can really make the experience a little bit more meaningful when you know why the country is the way it is in certain respects and why they do things the way that they do. Um, so when it comes
Um,
to what's up?
Technical difficulties.
No, mm-mm, can't have that.
I'm pretty positive my camera just died.
Aaron, do you want to see me cry?
My camera just died.
Well, we're going audio only on this one, baby. All right. Now, I was talking about doing the um, educational stuff before you go to different countries and learning about the culture and stuff ahead of time, maybe a little
Sorry,
history
folks.
lesson.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. Technically, we had difficulties, but they have been
Here we
resolved.
are.
Um,
So yeah, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. Getting some sort of formal knowledge prior to traveling is always a good idea. Even if you're in the United States or your home country, it's probably a good idea to check out a little bit of information before you go. You can probably have a better trip at the very least.
Definitely.
Having a game plan.
Yeah, definitely.
You'll get more done. You'll
Appreciate it more.
not be as disappointed. Yeah.
So, what are your next three?
Okay. So I have a billion, so bear with me here. I also have Canada. I just put Canada because ignorant American. You know what I mean?
Right.
Figured it'd be easier. But I mean, all my favorite YouTubers seem to be from
I know,
Canada.
right?
The landscape is beautiful. Every picture I see, so it's got to be a great place. I need to go. Canada.
Mhm.
Okay. Next one's Germany.
Okay.
Honestly, again, architecture. Anything in Europe. I know I put castles, but architecture and anywhere in those old countries, America. Yeah, we have some old buildings and whatnot, but like not that
Mhm.
old.
Yeah.
And then I put Philadelphia. You know why? Philly
Yeah,
cheesesteaks.
boy. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. I don't need to do anything else. I could just eat Philly cheesesteaks
Oh
all
yeah.
day, every day I'm there.
Yeah,
I'd be
definitely.
happy as hell.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, Philly cheesesteaks are one of my favorite foods. I'm always looking for that and teriyaki places whenever I'm going out for lunch. Just like, is there a
Yeah, there
teriyaki
you go.
place around here? Is there a Philly place? And so, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's basically that's my only reason,
Hmm.
but I mean, good enough reason for me.
Definitely. So let me see. One,
Got some more?
three.
You could probably got four more.
I got three more. Yeah. Um,
Three more. That's
it is
9.
9.
You
I
lied to
know.
me.
I know. I think I missed one. Transferring it over. Um, but my next three are Alaska, and that's because I really want to see like insane snow. Like I want to prepare for it. I don't really like the snow, but when I see like 6 feet of fluffy jump in it and it's like a giant pile of leaves kind of snow. Like I'm used to the snow like where I used to live up in Washington. Wet, soggy, you walk through it, your feet are soaked. I'm talking like powder snow, like up on the mountain kind of snow, and um, with it being
I think one thing for me is that exactly what you're saying. I'd rather visit the snow
mhm,
than live
I don't
in
want
the
to live
snow.
in the snow. Yep, I'll visit the snow and I'll be prepared for it. So I want to see like insane snowstorm kind of snow, piled like the kind when you see those videos where somebody opens up their front door and it's just like snow, like nothing else, no
Yeah, yeah,
sunlight,
yeah.
just snow. And then some of the videos you see of the places that are so cold that they can take hot coffee and throw it up in the air and it just turns to mist because it just dries out
Yeah.
so fast. This one, I don't remember if it was a TikTok or what it was, but these people put pants on a scarecrow, like jeans,
Hmm.
and then so they got the jeans wet, and then they put them on the scarecrow, left them overnight, and then took the scarecrows out, and then you had like a mom and dad pair of jeans and then a baby and a little baby pair of jeans and they're all just standing upright frozen in the snow. It was
Yeah, yeah,
freaking
yeah.
hilarious. And so like just that kind of cold, but in general I don't really like cold. In general I don't like sweltering hot either. Um but
Well,
preparing for it is
me
important.
neither. Yeah,
But
fair enough.
so
Fair enough.
Alaska, and then one thing that I've always so when I was in high school, I don't remember if it was a science teacher or what, but there was a teacher that he would get a bunch of kids together from his classrooms throughout, all of his different periods in school, and he would take them bike riding at I can't remember what park it is, but it's in Idaho, and it's just these ginormous canyons, like that orange sediment rock that you see, with the
Hmm.
big giant valleys, right? And then the
Hmm.
rock formations that are really really thin and super high, but that I've always wanted to see that in person. All the different layers of all the different minerals and rocks that were compressed over such a long period of time, and just seeing
Yeah.
all those that natural beauty of just being washed away over the years, making these ginormous valleys. Like it just looks so beautiful, and all the oranges
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
greens and light blues and stuff, like all of it just looks amazing. And so
So, a little side note on that. Growing up, there was a place that we went camping. I believe it was for Awana.
mhm,
I want to say it was like a youth group kind of
right.
thing. We took it was like a boys' camp out though. Okay, and we all went out. It was a cool place in California, Southern California. It was called, I believe it's called Red Rock Canyon,
Hmm.
and it was like that. It had like crazy like volcanic magma that had created these mountains, or there's a whole story behind it, and there's a lot of like American history there, Indian history. There's like a museum and stuff.
Right.
But it was pretty cool just seeing all of the different, like the white streaks across, like in different spots of the um, hills. There's not really mountains. It's not like the Grand Canyon. It's nothing super majestic and awe-inspiring, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. I just wanted to mention that since
Yeah.
you were talking
Yeah,
about
definitely. And I think that Utah has places like that as well. But yeah, I don't remember what it's a national park, but I can't remember what it is. And then London. London, I you know, it's just one of those places that I'm sure is on a lot of people's list of places that you want to go visit. And I just seeing it's like they're different cultures in different places, and I think that London is a little bit like a more different than a lot of the other cultures and the other places that I've chosen. And so just wanting to kind of see what it's like, because it's very modern. It's very, I mean, if anything, it's advanced. It's like, um there's a lot of major companies that are based out of there, and so it's a very wealthy city. And so um you get the most advanced that culture has to offer in major hubs like that. And so that's just something that
Yeah,
I've always
yeah,
wanted to see. And so it's kind of like visiting a really rural place in America. Like, yes, that is our culture. Yes, we do have that type, but that type of culture is not like, when you think of American, that is um a subculture, right? And so when you go to like the
sure.
more major cities or super densely populated places, then you get a better idea of what the culture's like there. And so that's kind of the idea with London. It's like I said, I'm sure it's on a lot of people's list for places to go visit. And so um
Oh yeah.
so yeah, that's why I chose that one.
Okay. Okay. I like it. Let's see. I have a couple honorable mentions, I
Yeah.
guess, because I have too many. It looks like I have two honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Bali and the Philippines,
Mm.
both of which I have just seen some of my favorite YouTubers fishing or whatever, and God, they're beautiful
Yeah.
places.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Like especially the Philippines, like their culture and stuff, and like how different it is from
Mm-hmm.
America. You know, but yet how just like genuinely happy a lot of people seem, and like it's just living in paradise. I guess I don't know how you couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, those are my honorable mentions. I guess they definitely places I'd like to someday see and travel to and shoot, maybe even fish.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah. I think that um there is definitely different goals for different vacations. And
Yeah,
like the Fiji one, and Hawaii, those are more outdoorsy, kind of sleighing on the beach. And then Japan and London and New York is more like sightseeing, buildings, events, things like that,
yeah,
food.
yeah.
um but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm really into it, but I do love paddleboarding. And you know in places in the United States, at least, I could see myself taking that with me on a road trip and going to various lakes and rivers and just different bodies of water. Nothing on the ocean though.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to
No, no, no.
die.
No, one hobby I picked up over the last couple years here is started kayak fishing.
Oh,
I bought a
right.
full blown fishing kayak. Okay, super legit. You can stand up. I can cast. I can do
Definitely.
turn around, do whatever I'm doing, fish. But super cool. You can get to all sorts of way cooler fishing spots than shore
Right.
fishing. I thought shore fishing was the bee's knees for 20 years, but just kidding. Not even close. Kayak fishing is amazing, but just in my local area, within like an hour, I have discovered so much beauty, so much I didn't even know existed, let alone here. Oh, yeah, this place sucks. There's nothing cool here. It sucks a lot, you know? Well, then I get a kayak and I'm blown away. Blown away with the cool stuff that I get to go see. So I can agree with what you're saying with like, if I could, a kayak's a little bit harder probably. I would take that thing all over the United States and just go see cool things, cool places, you know? Hopefully someday I can do that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that a lot of these places obviously are going to be very expensive. I know off the top of my head, the Fiji plane tickets were $1,200 for an adult, which is pretty up there. I know that when I was looking up Australia tickets, they were as low as 800 and they were getting as high as 1,500. It was kind of a very high variance, and I'd get notifications for stuff like that. But I think that like if if money is like a big issue, then you almost like driving anywhere close, seeing your capital in whatever state you live in, seeing the sights in your state. When it comes to vacation and it comes to just getting out of your comfort zone and just experiencing the world. Like you think of not traveling, staying in your hometown, never moving. You go to work, you have your group of friends, you watch your Netflix, you play your video games, and that's all you experience, and that's fine, But if you do have that urge, that need, that want to go and experience the world, and finances can be a big hurdle, a big barrier for people. And so I think that starting out small and like, hey, we're going to take a day trip, just over the weekend, and we can spend the night. And so then a hotel, $150 is a lot cheaper than a $1,200 plane ticket.
Yeah, and a rental car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
yeah, definitely. One of the things that my wife and I really want to do is overland. We're convinced that's what we're going to do. We've got a vehicle for it. We've got plans to do the things that are necessary to make it a capable overlanding rig.
Right.
And it's basically just glorified car camping. We want to get a rooftop tent, right? And then just go out and travel. And it helps. You don't need to go crazy with the vehicle. Yeah, you can go crazy, but you don't need to. You need it to be capable and safe and able to get yourself out of trouble and, whatever. But it kind of breaks that barrier for the financial aspect in a way, because everybody needs a vehicle to get to work nowadays, at least in our culture. Like, that's just how it is.
Right.
You go to work at 10 minutes away. That's a 10-minute car drive. And it could take you an hour. Oh, yeah. Depending on where, whatever. And so you got a vehicle anyways, you travel, like I said, rooftop tent or sleeping bag and tent, whatever. I've always just slept in a tent, and it's way cheaper, but you get to go see beautiful places.
Right.
Obviously, that's not like your dream locations. You're not going to Bali. You're not going to Hawaii. You're not doing that kind of stuff, but at least something to break that barrier into traveling and seeing things and appreciating. I think that one thing that, especially us as Americans, we do is we don't, at least I speak for myself, and I'm sure a lot of the people around me, we just continue on doing our thing, doing our, like you were saying, living our lives, buying our coffee, playing our video games, paying our Netflix subscription, But in reality, you save $50 a check or a month or whatever you can, that money that you might be spending in excess. I'm not saying stop doing the things you want to do, but save a little bit of money here and there, have a little bit of self control. That could save up to, you know, a trip out of town for the family once a year or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that people just should think about trying to
Yeah.
do.
And I definitely think that it's healthy to get out of your comfort zone as far as you look at the earth, you look at America, and then you look at your state, and then you look at your city, and then you look at your life in that city, and your circle of your circle of experience just slowly gets smaller and smaller and smaller, right? The what you've experienced in life gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And so I think it's healthy. I think that it can open your eyes to a lot of new ways of thinking, even new appreciation for nature, new appreciation for just people in general. Yeah, there's going to be sucky people everywhere, but um, you know, being able to see cultures and seeing the good in other places, and just seeing what this world has to offer in the span that we're allowed to be here, I guess, is
Yeah.
kind of the
It's
whole point. And so,
one thing that I've. Oh, go
no,
ahead. Go
you're
ahead.
good. Go ahead.
So one of the things that I've noticed is you get somebody from, let's say, Africa that moves to America, okay? And you meet these people, and 99.9% of the time, they're genuinely just happy because they have way better of a life here in America. They have more freedoms. They can work and they can keep their money and they can do they can feed their families. Whatever. I'm not saying you have to be impoverished, but like they come from whatever places and they're just happy. Whereas we're so quick to just be, oh, this guy cut me off, or
Mm-hmm.
that guy looked at me funny at the drive-through, or we're just our culture has gotten so people averted,
Right.
you know. And so getting out of your comfort zone and going and seeing these places where people live life differently and
Mm-hmm.
have different things and do different things can bring appreciation to your own life and what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's with anywhere, I mean, I think your example was like an immigrant, like somebody that wanted to move from their place, whatever country they're in, to seek a better life in America. When if you look at the standard of living, or you look at the whatever restrictions in their country that they're trying to escape, yeah, people are very happy when they get here. They're very um, grateful for the freedoms and liberties, and honestly just like ease of life. Minimum wage is so high compared to a lot of the world that um our we take it for granted. We take the opportunities that we have for granted. And so we spend our extra money on, getting Starbucks every day, when really $5 a day, 5 to 7 days, depending on if you get them on the weekends too, $35 a week, and you're looking at $150 a month. It adds up. I mean, it's like $1,500 a year on coffee. That's a vacation in itself. A smaller one, but still. And so, yes, I definitely think that appreciating other places and other types of people, other cultures, other ways of thinking, other ways of doing things, and I think that like just other histories,
Oh
other
yeah. Oh yeah.
other pasts, and seeing museums of wars and disputes and, I mean, tragic things, unfortunately, but just seeing the way that the country overcame that and evolved, and how, those little footprints of the hardships that they had to deal with became part of their culture and how they remember things. Um, I mean, the first thing off my head is like the Day of the Dead in Mexico. Like that is the way that they celebrate their ancestors. And
Yeah.
yes, there are other cultures and other countries that do that, but it's the colors and the artwork and the practices and what it means to them and their rituals and stuff. And so I think that seeing the way that people do things that, even we do, and how they do it and how it has evolved with their country and with their culture is important.
Yeah, 100%. So, um, my camera died again.
Oh no. All right. So that's where we are going to start wrapping it up. And I think for our next one, so we will circle back to the subject. This is our first go around with this subject. We'll come back when we circle back to this particular subject. It'll be more targeted towards one particular area. It'll be more concentrated on what we want to see, what we want to experience, what we're interested in, what we're hopeful for, what we're maybe even a little bit afraid of, concerns, worries. And then we're going to go over cost. I think that's a big part of a lot of these different spots is it more expensive to visit Europe than it is China? Is it more, you hear about, especially in places in like South America, you take $1,000 down there and you can live like a king because the inflation of the, USD to pesos is so significant. And then there are other countries where that's the case. And so those kinds of vacations can be more affordable because of the ratio of the currency that you might have in your country, depending on
Yeah.
who's all actually listening to this.
Right. And
So.
and we're definitely going to be going over, not just plane tickets and rental cars, whatever, transportation and hotels, but also like activities, maybe food, whatever, things that you might need to do in that country and how much spending money you might need as well. So
Definitely.
we'll try to cover our bases and see how it goes.
Yes, definitely. So this has been Aaron and Anthony just rambling on about nonsense, focused on vacation, and any last thoughts before we depart?
No, it's been a good time. Hopefully, well, like you said, we're going to circle back to this subject, but we're going to cover some other stuff. We're going to be talking about all sorts of stuff, things that we want to talk about.
Definitely.
Just two buds hanging out, chatting, talking about things. So should be a good time. Come check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Super stoked. Super stoked. We're gonna be. I mean, I'm excited to just reminisce about the old days. If you didn't already know, me and Aaron, we have a history together when we were younger, and so just talking about hopes and dreams, motivations, career choices. There's so many different subjects that we want to talk about that are near and dear to us. It's what we like to listen to, and it's what we like to produce. So this is our attempt at putting the stuff that we enjoy out back into the world, right?
Yep.
So
and bear with us. We're new. We're trying this out.
oh yeah,
Obviously, technical difficulties are rampant. My camera has died for the third time this podcast.
oh damn.
So I'm going to go ahead and charge it next time. We're going to be ready, prepared.
Oh
You'd
definitely.
be surprised how long it took us to get to this point.
Oh yeah, this is like 2 hours in the making now. And it's gonna end up being like 30 minutes of usable audio.
Yeah, so if you made it to the end, we appreciate it.
Oh,
We
definitely.
really do. Just hanging out with us, having a good time, give us some feedback.
Definitely. So
All right.
All right, this is going to be the ANA podcast signing off.
Later, guys.